Welcome to Fractured Chaos.
I never thought my gift would become a weapon. But that's the thing about empaths like me. We absorb emotions like sponges until one day, we decide to wring ourselves out. My name is Patricia Lawson, and 6 months ago, I was just another corporate drone with an uncanny ability to read people. "You're so understanding, Patty," they'd say. "You always know exactly what I need." If they only knew what was coming. The first time I met Derek Maxwell, I felt a cold void where emotions should be. That should have been my warning. But his smile was perfect, his suit impeccable, and his charm intoxicating. Within weeks, he was the new marketing director and my direct supervisor. Everyone was enamored. Everyone except me. I could feel the hollowness behind his eyes like a physical ache in my chest. "You're different from the others," he whispered during our first late night at the office. "You see things, don't you?" I laughed it off, but something inside me froze. How could he know? What I didn't realize then was that narcissists are hunters. They can spot empaths like sharks smell fear in water. By month 3, we were dating. I know what you're thinking. Why would I get involved with someone who set off every alarm bell? That's the thing about being an empath that nobody talks about. Sometimes we're drawn to the very people we should run from. I wasn't just dating Derek, I was studying him. And he had no idea I could see the calculations behind every spontaneous gesture, every heartfelt confession. One night, as we lay in bed, he absent-mindedly mentioned his ex. Poor Emma. She was so mentally unstable at the end. The way he said it, so casual, so rehearsed, made me sit up. "What happened to Emma?" I asked. His pause lasted exactly 2 seconds too long. "Oh, she had a breakdown. Got committed to a psychiatric facility. Lost her job, her friends, everything, really. Last I heard, she'd moved to Seattle for a fresh start." That night, while he slept, I found an old photo of them in his desk. On the back was written, "If you're reading this, he's already starting on you too." I put it back exactly as I found it. The next day, I created a fake email account. "Remember me?" I wrote to myself and left it open on my laptop where Derek would see it. When he casually asked about it later, I noticed how his left eye twitched. His tell. "Just spam," I said. So strange, though. It mentioned someone named Emma. The tension in his shoulders was subtle, but to me, it screamed volumes. That's when I knew Emma's story wasn't what he claimed. Over the next few weeks, I became the perfect girlfriend, attentive, admiring, always validating. Each compliment was a brick in the fortress of his ego that I was deliberately building. "You're so much smarter than the CEO," I'd whisper. "Everyone can see it." The narcissist's greatest weakness is pride, and I was feeding his until it would choke him. While playing the adoring girlfriend, I was meticulously documenting everything. The professional sabotage of colleagues, the credit he stole for others' work, the gaslighting so subtle most victims didn't even realize it was happening, all saved to a cloud drive named insurance. But the real breakthrough came when I found his journal. Yes, narcissists keep journals too. They need to admire their own thoughts. And there it was. On page 42, Emma threatened to expose me to HR, had to make sure no one would believe her. The breakdown was convenient, almost too easy. I should have gone to HR right then. But something told me this went deeper than one company, one victim. Emma deserved more than a case that might be dismissed with a settlement and NDA. She deserved justice. So I took a risk that still makes my stomach flip when I think about it. I reached out to Derek's other exes. 3 women, all initially suspicious, all eventually sharing eerily similar stories of gaslighting, manipulation, and professional sabotage. And one of them, Vanessa, had saved texts where Derek detailed exactly what he'd done to systematically isolate and destroy Emma's credibility. "It was almost too easy to make her look unstable," he'd written. "Just had to replace her anxiety meds with caffeine pills for a few weeks. By the time she went to the doctor, everyone already thought she was losing it. I copied everything and then sent Derek a single text. I know about the pills. He called 17 times that night. I didn't answer once. At work the next day, he cornered me in the supply closet, his charm replaced by something feral. "Who have you been talking to?" he hissed. I smiled, the same smile he'd given so many others. "Everyone," I lied. Or maybe no one. That's the thing about secrets, Derek. Once they're out, you can never know who has them. For the first time, I watched fear flicker across his face. That's when I realized the ultimate irony. My empathy hadn't just helped me understand him. It had taught me exactly how to become his worst nightmare. The company retreat was that weekend at a luxury resort, the same one where Emma had her breakdown. I made sure we were assigned to the same team-building group. As we participated in trust exercises, I stayed close to him, whispering just loudly enough for him alone. "Does this place bring back memories?" His posture stiffened. I wonder if Emma felt the walls closing in right here. His head whipped around, eyes wild. What Derek didn't know was that I'd invited a special guest to the retreat, Emma herself. Not broken, not committed, not in Seattle. She'd spent the last year rebuilding herself, documenting everything and waiting for the right moment. "Keep him talking," she'd instructed me. "The recording will do the rest." As our group broke for lunch, I led Derek to a secluded spot in the garden. "Beautiful place," I said, my hand brushing the recording device under my jacket. "Is this where it happened? Where you started replacing her medication?" His laugh was nervous. "What are you talking about?" "You're being weird, Patty." I turned to face him, dropping the facade completely. "I know what you are, Derek. I've always known. Empaths don't just feel emotions. We see through their absence too." "You don't know anything," he snarled, his perfect mask finally slipping. "And no one would believe you anyway. They never do." I smiled again. That's the thing about narcissists. You're all so predictable, so convinced of your own exceptional nature that you miss what's right in front of you. I pulled out my phone and played the recording. Him and Vanessa, discussing Emma's breakdown in horrifying detail. The color drained from his face. "You've been planning this all along." "No, Derek. I've been playing your game, just better than you. The difference between us is that I can feel everything you feel, but you can't imagine anyone being smarter than you." His eyes darted around, calculations running behind them. For a moment, I saw his intent as clearly as if he'd spoken it aloud. He was going to claim I was having my own breakdown, that I'd become obsessed with him, that I was the unstable one. But before he could speak, a figure stepped out from behind the nearby hedge. "Hello, Derek," Emma said, recorder already in hand. "It's been a while." The look on his face as we walked away wasn't satisfaction. It was disbelief. The narcissist's ultimate downfall isn't being caught. It's the unshakable conviction that they're too clever to be caught at all. The company investigation lasted 3 months. 3 months of Derek insisting I had manipulated everyone, that I was obsessed with him, that I had somehow manufactured evidence. But empaths make excellent witnesses. We notice details others miss. And narcissists make terrible defendants. They simply cannot help but perform. The day HR delivered their verdict, termination for cause, with referrals to the state medical board and the district attorney's office for criminal medication tampering, Derek looked directly at me. No anger, no hatred, just genuine confusion. He truly couldn't understand how he had lost. That's when I realized the most chilling truth of all. He would never feel remorse for Emma, but he would forever be tormented by being outsmarted by someone he considered beneath him. They say empaths need to protect themselves from toxic people. What they don't tell you is that sometimes we're the only ones who can stop them. My gift let me see the monster beneath the charm. But it was my choice to become the predator's predator. I saw him once, months later, working at a small marketing firm across town. I didn't approach him. I just sat at a nearby cafe and watched. He felt my gaze. I could tell by how he suddenly stiffened, how his eyes darted around until they found mine. I didn't say anything. I didn't need to. I just let him feel seen in a way narcissists fear most. Completely, accurately, and without admiration. It's the cruelest punishment I could devise. Later that week, he sent a text from an unknown number. "How did you know? From the very beginning. How did you know what I was?" I replied with the truth that would haunt him forever. "Because before I met you, I was engaged to someone exactly like you, and I promised myself, never again." As I blocked his number, I felt a familiar heaviness in my chest, the kind I've carried since I was a child, watching my mother shrink under my father's constant criticism. The kind that makes you hypervigilant, always reading the room, always anticipating others' needs before your own. They call it being an empath. I call it survival. The irony isn't lost on me. I destroyed a monster by becoming something monstrous myself. But here's the twist no one sees coming. Emma wasn't just any victim. She was a psychologist researching narcissistic abuse patterns when she met Derek. She recognized what he was doing because she'd studied it her entire career. "Be the perfect mirror," she told me. "Let him see only what he wants to see." So I did. And now Derek will spend the rest of his life wondering, was I really an empath who saw through him? Or something far more dangerous? Someone who learned to beat him at his own game? I suppose in the end, it doesn't really matter. The monster is exposed. The victims have justice. And me? I've learned that empathy isn't just a gift or a curse. It's a choice. Every day I choose who deserves my understanding and who deserves my justice. So if you're listening to this and you recognize yourself in Derek, know one thing. There might be a Patricia watching you right now, and we see everything. Sweet dreams.